We are here today with Bee now. We're working our way through. So this is our first proper day both back here working together in 2023. And we are getting through all these training videos to show you guys a little bit of some of the ones that we currently have here for sale. So Bee is quite well bred. You can find all the details about his breeding. He's just young. He's really sweet. He's very quiet and very sensible, but he is a little bit lazy, I'm not going to lie. So, yes, he does need someone that's prepared to kick, and he is good with the whip as well. So if you need to tap him up to get him going and get him a little motivated, that's okay as well. That's really the key to ride him. Other than him being lazy, he's pretty straightforward, isn't he? Like, he's not, yeah, he doesn't have too much, he's pretty straight, he's pretty supple, he sits in a nice easy frame for where he's at, so it's quite regular in the rhythm once you actually get him going. So Ben's just kind of getting him a little in front of the leg here, doing a few exercises and transitions just to sharpen him up before he has a canter, I would imagine. Oh boy. So I think, is he 5, Ben? Yeah. 5, yeah. So it's been broken in. He hasn't done a lot of work, so he's working pretty amazingly considering the for where he's at. I think he's going to be a pretty exciting horse for someone. He's quite versatile. He has potential for the dressage ring. He was actually bred for showing, and although he's, we don't know much about showing, he's kind of an elegant type, and he's obviously going to fill out and muscle up a little bit more, so I think he could certainly turn his hand at showing as well. And we've only just started touching on the jumping. Ben will probably hop him over a few cross rails here today. I haven't actually seen him jump. He's been doing that by himself. But we'll have a little look at that as well, because if he can jump a little, I think he could certainly, he's a really nice type to look at for eventing as well. So yeah, he's got a little bit going for him, and he's sort of quiet enough that, someone could bring on as their first young horse, I would say, with, guidance of a good coach or trainer. I think would be a reasonable quest with Mr. B. All right, let's see some canter. Want to do this way or the other way first? Yeah, other way. So first transition, this is the first one of the day, so Ben hadn't done any warm-up or anything before I got here, really. He just got on, so he could be a little extra lazy in that first transition. And the transition actually came off quite well itself, but you did see that Ben kind of went to ask him and then realised, oh, no, he's not in front of my leg enough, so he sort of tuned him up in the trot a little bit before he had another crack at that canter transition. So just to be mindful of that, if you don't feel like you've got enough impulsion to kind of get that canter strike off, it might be worth coming back and looking at your trot and creating a trot that's a bit more realistic, realistically going to get you to canter a little bit more effectively. So he'll do it again now, but you can see before he goes, he's addressing any laziness in this trot to say, come on, stay in front of my leg, so that the canter doesn't feel so far away as well. Go on, there. And then once you're in canter, it's about also keeping him sharp. And anything where he's not perfectly round in the canter is all a lack of forward. So once the more forward he gets, the easier he comes around. So your priority, like, it really doesn't matter if he comes off the bit. It's more about getting him in front of the leg, and then you can trust that he will connect. He will connect just from being forward. Okay, just from having that impulsion in the hind leg, which is going to give him the power to sort of soften in the front. Good. And I think it's also about short quality spurts of canter with him, like kind of get him in front, stay there for a second, and then bring him back to trot and try again, rather than trying to do heaps and heaps of laps in a row. And also making sure that on either side of the canter transition that he's staying in front of the leg in the trot. So he's not dropping behind at all. Yeah, good. All right, find your trot. Let's go the other way. And then try to kind of keep a little bit of the momentum up from the canter when you come to trot as well, because sometimes he actually gets, it's like the canter saps all his energy and he actually gets a little lazier after the canter. So that's a bit of an unusual trait, but one to be a little bit aware of as well. Now we're moving. You can see as he starts to actually go, he has a lot of movement in there, a lot of potential. But he's not always super forthcoming to offer that up without a little bit of conversation, shall we say. A little more canter. Yeah, good there. Good. One more canter right. The right canter seems a little easier, is it, Ben? He doesn't bend as well, but looks a bit straighter and more forward, more ground cover, I would say. Sometimes that can be the trade-off, you know, the more bendy way they fall out a little bit more, which then costs you your forward on a lazy horse too. So it's just a bit of a, you know, juggling act. All right, when you're ready, let's come back to trot and have a little look at a crossbar. Okay, as I said, guys, I haven't seen Bee jump. I think he's only done a couple of crossbars on a few rides. Good boy. That's probably what I would have expected, knowing his temperament. That's not to say that he won't be able to jump, just because he's a little bit awkward now. But you know, the things we got to look for the positive things, and the positives in this, you know, scenario is that he's very new to this and he seems willing. He's, you know, he's obliging. He's not, you know, trying to get out of it. He seems pretty brave and honest. In terms of technique, there are some things to be worked on at this stage, but it's so, the lazy ones, until they are actually in front of the leg, you know, it's hard for them to have enough energy in the jump to really, you know, show you what they're made of. So he's still really just figuring out where to put his legs and stuff like that at this stage too. You can see Ben's just trying to get him a little bit more go-y there. And sometimes that forward, it can work both ways actually. Sometimes it actually holds you forward. There we go. Okay, so I just turned away for a second to pick up a rail and Ben's come flying over this ox eye, and Bee was so good. Yeah, awesome. That's great. What a progress. One more. Sweet. Good stuff. Alright, bring him back to a walk. This won't be a problem for Bee. I reckon if this just takes his leg off. Oh my gosh, I can't speak today. He'll